Hello students, today you are going to learn about user-defined function. In the previous class, you have used functions like SQLT, power functions, that square root function, power function, already you have used. But you don't know what is its coding. Now if you want to create the same function like that, so how will you create? Now in this session you are going to learn. So our topic is user-defined methods. So first learn what is function or methods. Both are similar. Same means synonyms. Function means group of statements. What is the function? Group of statements. Means particular task if you want to perform, so you can make its group. So when you will make its group, what is the benefit? It is having more benefits. So first, function or methods. It is called, what is the function or method? It is group of statements, and you can perform that, you can create that function to perform a particular task. For example, you have in your program, you are accepting so many inputs. So you can make one function for input. For displaying variables or displaying value, you can make another function. So this is the benefit. Now you are going to learn what is the need of the function. Okay. So first, it makes your function program easier. Makes program easier. Easier means easy to code. Okay. Easy to coding. Means suppose your program is performing so many tasks. So in that case, when you revise your program, so what will happen? You will face that it is a very complex program to understand in what portion you are performing which task. So for that you can create function. For example, suppose your program is performing addition, subtraction, multiplication, accepting so many variables, showing output also. So you can make different functions for different tasks. So when you will revise your program, so it will be easy to understand this is your portion, this is your function for accepting variables, this is your function for addition, this is your function for subtraction. So easily you can understand what code or what group of statement belongs to which task. Now second thing, you can use this function to hide code. Okay. In the predefined function, previous classes you have used like square root function, power function. So you don't know its coding because they are predefined. Same way, if you want to hide code, so you can create your own function. So this hiding code is also known as black box. Then third and very useful, that is reuse. Okay, so you can make function once, and whenever you will want to use your function, you can reuse many times. Let's see with example. Suppose I told you to create a program which added two numbers. Then it identifying the maximum number. Then again you have to subtract two numbers. Then again find out the largest number among those numbers which you have subtracted. Then after perform the addition, multiplication and division, and then after also search which number is greater number. So means here greater number you are searching 3 times, but there is no repetition, there is no any sequence of calling or using that particular large function or large process. Okay, so here in this case you will use, what you will do, you will create maximum function, or you will create a method to find out the largest number, and then after whenever you require you can call that function. So this is the use of function. Okay, so we have learned the uses of function. Now we will see how can you define a function. Okay. Now to define a function, the syntax is, first is you will mention access specifier, then modifier, then return type, then function name, then after inside parameter list. Okay, then this will come in all one line, and then after here you will write the statement for the function. What your function, which task your function will perform. Okay, so access specifier, that is public, private, protected, which tells your function the accessibility, where you can access your function. Then modifiers like final, synchronous, volatile. So that for that modifying, for example, final you can use for finalize your method. That method code will not change during the execution of the program. Now return type. Return type means if you are performing a function, if your function is after execution, if it is returning a result, so the return type, what type of value it will return, that you will mention here. Now next is function name. Function name is like an identifier user can give by its own choice. Just like you get create variable, so you give its you assign or declare its name. Then parameter list. Parameter list you provide when your function require any value. So that you will mention here. Before execution of these commands which you have written inside the function, if it require any value, so you will mention it in the parameter list. Let's see examples of function and the parameter list. Let's see the function example. Here I am showing two examples of the function. In the first example it is written public static, and suppose this function is returning any value. Which type of value it is returning? So we will mention here static and integer. So here it is returning integer type of value, and this is not returning any value, so we will write here void. Void stands for none. So this is the example in this public static int q and int x. It means here this is public, we can access this function anywhere. Then static, we can call this function without object. Then int is return type. It means this function is returning which type of value? Integer type of value. Now here q is the function name, and here int x is the parameter or argument. This function require one int type of value. And here we have written the code, and if you are using, if function is returning any value, so whatever the value you are returning, you have to write the return keyword and that value in that of that type. Suppose it is returning x value, integer type, so this value should be integer type. Okay. Now this is another example of the function or method, public static void message. Now here you can see it is empty, so it means this function is not returning anything. Okay, and we have just here we are using just a message, or this message, method will show only simple message hello, system.out.println hello. So this message, hello message, will show by this message when you will call this message. Now here we have defined the function. Now how can we access the function? So for accessing function, you will use the command function name and its parameter. Now for example, here we have created q function. So if you are calling it, so it is returning the value. So you will write int y. Suppose y int y, then you will write q, and you will pass any variable like a. And suppose here a is having value 5. So this a requires integer type of value, and this function will return the value. So you need one variable to assign that value which is returned by this cube function. Okay, so here this is the method of calling a function or accessing a function. So we require two things. First, we need to define the function, and then here we are using that function by calling the function. Let's see one complete example of a program. I am here writing the program which can accept two numbers, and then after we are finding which is the largest number. In this program, I have created one function named largent, okay, larint, which we are using to finding out which one is the greatest number among two. Okay, so let's see what is happening in this. We have created first class test, and then inside I have defined one function named larint. It is not returning any value. Okay, so we will write void first because return type is null. So when any function is not returning any value, so you will write void. And it is also static method because we don't need to create object to call this function. In this function, first we have declared x value 30 and y value 10. Both are integer type of value. Instead of this, you can accept the value here. Then we are finding out which number is greater. If x is greater than y, so it will print x. If not, then it will print y. Now in this case, you can see here our x is greater number here. Greatest number is x. So it will print x. Now let's see the execution of this program. Here I have written main method also. As you can see, all of you know very well that main is the initial method. So in this, the main function will execute first. Now first command we have written in the main method system.out.println start. So this command will execute first. So your output first it will print start. Then after next command, here we are calling the function named larint. So it will this code, after execution of this code, when your pointer will come here, so instruction pointer will come here, so it will execute this method. When this will execute, start executing, as it is calling of a method, then this code will transfer its pointer to the function definition. So here it will transfer, from here it will come here because we have defined function here. Now it will execute all the commands, and then finally it will print here our greatest number is x. So here it will print 30 because out of 10, among this 30 and 10, the 30 is the largest number. So after execution of this code, again it will come here, and then after it will execute this statement. This is system.out.print, and we are printing a message and, so it will print and. Okay, so same, it will print first, it will execute this, then it will execute the function definition from here, and then finally again it will come back here, and then it will execute this statement. So this will be the output of this program. So here you have learned about the method which is not accepting any value and even not returning any value. Now we are going to learn about the different types of functions. What types of functions we can create. So here I am explaining that function. First, there are two types of function basically you can create. First is without argument and with argument. Now, with arguments functions again are of two types. Means if you are providing arguments, so you can provide arguments by two ways. One is call by value, then another is call by reference. call by reference. Now here as you can see we have here created a function which is not accepting any value and not returning any value. So it is which type of function? Without argument. It is not accepting. So here also when we are calling the value, here also we are not providing it any arguments. So it means it is without argument function. Now we will convert this to with argument function. So in first we are going to learn about how can we perform, what will be the execution of the call by value. Okay. So I am going to making change in this program first because this function will return accepting the value. Now here I am mentioning int x and int y. So it means this function will ask 2 arguments from the user. Now here instead of this I am declaring int a value 30, same value I am providing. Instead of that, as I told you, you can accept the value from the user. Okay. And now we will call the function this lar int. Okay. Now here we will provide it as it requires 2 integer type of values. I am providing it a and b. Okay. Now in this is the example of call by value. Okay. Call by value example means we are calling the function by providing value. Okay. So here now what will be the execution of this program? So first it will execute main function, main method. So first this command it will declare a variable, assign it 30. Here b variable, then providing it value 30. Then we are providing this a and b variable. Now as I told you, this function, this statement will get transferred. It's all this instruction pointer from here. It will transfer to the function definition. It will come here. Then it will check this x and y. And according to that, it will provide answer. It will show the output. Here, a variable's value will be copied to the x, and b variable value will be copied to the y. I am showing you here. Suppose here your main method. These are the variables of the main method: a variable and b variable. Now your next method is lar int and its variable are x and y. So when you are calling this function at this time, its main a and b variable send a copy of their value to the method. Okay. So here a variable's value we have assigned 30 and b we have assigned 10. So a variable copy will go to the x variable and it will be 30. Then here b variable's copy will go to the y, that is 10. So when you are calling the function, this 30 and 10 will be copied here, 30 and 10, and then after this is checked by here in this code. X 30 is greater than 10, so it is true, so it will print 30. So this is the example of call by value. Now, when you are calling the arguments, it is called actual parameters. And when you are whatever the arguments you are defining or whatever the variable you are defining inside this header line, so that we call formal arguments. Okay, so this is actual argument and formal argument. So you have seen that actual argument's copy goes to the formal argument. So it means whenever you want to secure your data, you don't want to update your actual data, so that time you will use call by value. But whenever there is updation type of program, for example counting of object, counting of variable, where every function is changing the value of the variable, that time this call by value will not work. Now that time what we will use? We will use call by reference. Now I am going to show the program of call by reference and we will compare compare both call by value also and call by reference also. Now in the call by reference, we will use reference data type. Now what are reference data type? Reference data types are object and arrays. Now why they are calling reference? Because when they are called, they use address only. Okay, whenever you will call that, so its reference will go. You have heard the cell reference, it means cell address in the Excel. Same way, when you will call the object or provide the object to any function, so it will provide the reference. So basically that reference will denote to your actual parameters or actual arguments only. So whenever you will make changes, the changes will happen in the actual argument. This call by reference method you will use when you want to change actual parameters. Okay? So let's see the example of actual parameters. Call by reference. Now this is the example of call by reference. As I told you, I am showing here the difference between call by reference and call by value. This is call by reference, this is call by value. Here we are passing the arguments or values or variable values, so it is call by value. And this program is performing the swapping between two numbers. So here it means we require to change the actual parameters which we are passing. But in the call by value it is not happening because it is this swapping is done in the function argument. Okay, but actual parameters are not changing. So that's why we are using call by reference. In the reference you will pass either object or array. Here I am passing the object. So let's see the program what is happening. First I have declared the two variables and then here I have created one function which is call by value. It is accepting number, name is swap by val, and here we are doing the swapping with A and B and changing the code A to B and B to A. Then here this is the method we have created. It is call by reference because it is accepting object. Okay, and we are passing the reference here and its name is swap by reference. Again we are doing here swapping. Now how this function or how this program will execute? First, whatever the actual argument, it will print that. So what is the x value? It is 30 and y value it is for 10. So first time it will print for this command. It will print 30 and then 10 space bar. Then after we are calling the function swapping, swap by val, but here its copy will be copied here in the A. X will copy in the A, Y will be copied in the B. So the changes will happen in the A, B, not in X, Y. Then after execution of this function, we are again printing it, so its output will be the same. Because no change is happening in the actual argument. Because changes are happening in the A, B, that is the copy. Now here, after that we have created one object named my object new. Then we are calling the function by passing the reference. Here I am passing object. Why we are passing object? Because here it is accepting the arguments of this function is object type. It is accepting test type object. Okay. So here we have called the function swap by reference. So this point, instruction pointer will transfer to here in this function. Then it will perform all the execution, and now here changes are happening in the x and y. So after the execution of this function, when this command will execute, and it will print 10, 30, because here we are pointing to the test object. So it will send the reference. Now what is happening here? Suppose this my object is having address 10818. So this reference will pass to the object B. So it means here we are telling whatever the changes you have to do for this address. This address means my object. So here the changes will happen in the actual argument, not in the copy of the argument. So this time you will get the swapped numbers. Okay, so I hope you have learned about the methods. How can you